Oh, well, hi there, guys. I don't know. Oh, I'm just sitting here in Seattle at the little studio. This is stupid. No, here's the deal. I was just setting a couple different setting configurations, kind of getting my setups ready for tonight's live stream. And I thought, well, what better test than to just do a quick live video here for you and make sure everything's working okay. That way we don't have too many surprises later. But with that, I do, since I'm here, I do want to remind you that in a few short hours from now, starting at 5:30 Pacific, that's where I'm at here in Seattle on a gorgeous sunny day. I almost kind of don't want to be hanging out here in a studio. I'd rather be outside, but man, we got a jam-packed show for you. It's going to be a lot of fun. Starting at 5:30 Pacific, 7:30 Central, and 8:30 Eastern time, because we have representatives from all of those various time zones. But hey, guess what? Our worlds are in danger. That's right. Join me and the hosts of More Than Meets the Ear on the MSRP live stream later tonight. We're going to be talking about their brand new podcast that just recently launched, discussing nobody's favorite Transformers cartoon series, that being 2005's Transformers Cybertron. We're going to unpack the origin story of their podcast, how it came together, but more importantly, I guess question the first for me is going to be why Transformers Cybertron and not another cartoon that's I don't know, good. um, but really, I kind of want to dig into, like, is Transformers Cybertron as bad as some of us remember? Plus, things are going to get real shippy, along with plenty of goofy voices as well. It's going to be a ton of fun. Like I said, we're also going to get into some of the surprising connections I have with some of these folks and how small a world the Transformers fandom actually is. There were a few connections that surprised me once I did a little bit of research. All of that and more coming up later tonight on the Mike Seibert Radio Podcast live stream. Again, tune in at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, and 5:30 Pacific, and listen to their podcast, More Than Meets the Ear, everywhere you listen to Mike Seibert Radio, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and you can follow them out on social medias on Facebook at MTMTEAR on Twitter and MTMTEAR Podcast on Instagram. So More Than Meets the Ear. And if you start binging their podcast right now, I mean like right now, you should be able to get caught up by the time we go live. There's 3 episodes. They're just over an hour each. So yeah, I think, like I said, if you beat feet, jump off the stream here and go listen to their podcast, you should be able to get caught up. Now, in other news, since I'm here in broadcasting and kind of want to get a good sample set of the video, make sure everything turns out okay, let's do some shout outs. Shout it. I'm not doing that here. Anyway, today, Sunday, May the 2nd, today is the last day of the Kickstarter for ThoughtScape Comics #1. So if you were waiting until the last minute to back the new sci-fi anthology comic series from Matt Mayer Lowry, this is it. This is your last day. We talked about that on a podcast a couple weeks ago, how it's a sci-fi anthology comic series kind of inspired by 2000 AD, as well as Black Mirror, The Twilight Zone, The Outer Limits, One Step Beyond, a lot of those classic sci-fi anthologies. So I've been a supporter of the project from jump, and I want to thank everyone else who's been interested in the project. I know I've talked to a couple folks that have backed the project, and a handful more that have shared the Kickstarter out on social media as well, which always helps. helps. It just raises that visibility. Even if you're not in a position to back a project, you can at least throw it a share that way to help with the visibility there. But I did want to give you an update because there has been a little bit of news since I released last week's podcast episode, where basically the way I put it was like, this is your last chance to back the project, and I don't know if they're going to make their goal. So if you're able to, go do that. Well, they did successfully meet their funding goal earlier, late last week. So the project is going forward. ThoughtScape Comics #1 is going to get published, and folks that participated in the Kickstarter will be able to get their copies. So congratulations to Matt and the other cool creators working on this project. It's something I'm really looking forward to. But since the project did fund, Matt has since added a bonus story as a stretch goal, kind of a stretch goal reward for the project. So here's the deal: in these last few hours, and again, the Kickstarter ends at, oh my gosh, I want to say like 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So you have until 6 a.m. on the 3rd Pacific time to back the project. But anyway, in these last handful of hours, if they can hit 10,500 before the Kickstarter ends, Matt is going to add a 5th story to ThoughtScape Comics #1. It's called The Griever, and it is drawn by Jacob Edgar and is colored by Leslie Atlansky. The story is one of the favorite things he's ever written, he says, and he'd love to add it to the very first issue of ThoughtScape Comics. There's some sample art pieces for The Griever, as well as the other stories that we talked about in the podcast. Looks really cool, and yeah, that would make a fine addition to that first issue. And as of right this moment, I just checked right after I went live here. They're still about $1,000 shy of that stretch goal. So here's the deal: if you are in a position to back the project, check out thoughtscapecomics.com. That is the quickest route to get to the Kickstarter. And if you're already a backer like myself, consider upping your pledge if you'd like to see this bonus story included in the first issue of ThoughtScape Comics. And like I mentioned a little bit ago, go back and check out my interview with Matt Mayer-Larry from a few weeks ago, and we went really deep on the project, kind of talked about all of the stories and all of the cool creators he is working with here. But we also talked a bunch about just sci-fi anthology series in general. And in that interview, he shares some of his favorite Twilight Zone and Outer Limits episodes. That he's always fun to talk to, and that was a really great conversation. I think you'll dig it if you're into those sci-fi anthology type things, the classics. I also wanted to let you know that the long anticipated brand new album from friend of the show Glitbiter is now available. That dropped last Friday. It's an album called it's an album. I keep trying to say EP. It's got 6 songs on there. I think I need to have Flo back on the show so that she can legislate the difference between an EP and an album. And I think every other musician I've ever interviewed has broken this down for me, and I just keep not remembering. Anyway, it's called Glass and Steel, and the album is full of black hearts and the inky synthwave vibes that you would expect. I saw just a little bit ago, I saw a review on Bandcamp that I think kind of sums it up perfectly. They write, "What can I say about this masterpiece? It's ethereal, moody, dreamy, and full of alluring melodies. It's one of those albums you get lost in. Florence will mesmerize you with her angelic voice and blissful lyrics, an A+ album." And they say their favorite track is Turn, that from Elevate the Sky. And yeah, man, I literally couldn't have said it better myself. We'll have to see if our schedules can line up sometime in the future, and maybe we can get Flo back on the show to talk about the new album and go a little deeper. And maybe even some more Star Wars talk last time as well. And if you're into synthwave, Glitbiter's music is right up your alley. I really enjoy her stuff. And one of the things I've talked about in previous podcasts is a lot of synthwave is instrumental. It's like heavy synthesizers and percussion instruments and the like. I don't know how many other artists do this as well, but one of the things that I like most about Flo's music is, I mean, she just has an incredible singing voice, and she sings, some lyrics, some verses, some choruses over the music, and it's just really, really good. So again, if you're a fan of synthwave, I would definitely steer you towards Glitbiter's music, and specifically her brand new album, Glass and Steel. So congratulations to Flo on that. And also, since I'm here, just making it rain with the congratulations, I want to give a huge congratulations and a shout out to my dude Anthony Burcali, owner operator madman behind TFU.info, on celebrating 100 episodes of Transformers University podcast, the show he hosts, and he is celebrating big time. He is going to be recapping and doing a deep dive on the finale of season 3 of the G1 Transformers cartoon. It's a little 2-part episode called The Return of Optimus Prime. That episode drops on Monday. It's available now on the tfu.info Patreon page. So if you want to join the Patreon and get early access, that would be dope. But the episode does drop on the main feed on Monday. And as you listen, you just might hear a special message from yours truly, along with some of my memories of watching that show on videotape back in the day when I was a kid. And I kind of talk about how The Return of Optimus Prime is basically a sequel to Transformers the movie, as it kind of closes out season 3, and season 3 starts off with the culmination of the movie. I didn't really think this out very well, but anyway, it's a great episode, and Ant's podcast is a lot of fun, and he and I have gotten to be pretty close friends these last few years through podcasts and Transformers fandom and things like that. So anytime you can hit a milestone like that, like the big one hundo, is something to celebrate. So yeah, check out episode 100 of Transformers University when that drops. And finally, before I get out of here and go pack up and grab some lunch/dinner, I want to give a huge heartfelt congratulations to Kyle McCormick and Lucia Fasano. Those crazy kids done got married this weekend. They've been posting about it on Facebook and social media all weekend, but they after a lengthy engagement, they decided to elope and tie the knot. They got married down in Vegas, and they look very, very happy in the pictures, and I couldn't be happier for them. And of course, I wish them all of the happiness in the world, and I hope you are happy and healthy wherever you are. And I think with that, let me see if anything's in chat. Nope, no chats. Perfect. Very good. So yeah, I think I've got enough of a sample set. So I think I am gonna close it out here. Yeah, Yeah, I think I'm going to sign off for now, but again, I do want to remind you to come back in a few short hours, and things are going to get buck wild up in here with more than meets the ear here on the Mike Cybert Radio podcast live stream. And if you want to listen to my podcast, Mike Cybert Radio, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, or wherever the heck else you listen to your podcasts. And you can check out the full show archive out on SoundCloud. 5 years and over 300 episodes worth of shows out there. Like, share, rate, and review the show. Let us know what you'd like and what you'd like to hear more of in the future. My name is Mike. This has been a weird impromptu episode of Mike Cybert Radio. And until next time, tell all are one. Get that vax when you're eligible. Wash your hands, wear a mask, and of course, make good choices. See you in a few hours. Okay, bye.